The road to WrestleMania begins as the Royal Rumble is January 24th. And before we go on with the Royal Rumble match, there is something we do need to talk about. A couple weeks ago, Roman Reigns became the WWE Champion. He insulted Stephanie McMahon. He destroyed Triple H at TLC after being somewhat robbed of the title at TLC, even though it was a TLC match and anything goes. But nonetheless, TLC happened where he destroyed Triple H. He could have been fired. He should have been fired, really. But Mr. McMahon gave him his match for the WWE Championship. And in Philadelphia, of all places, Roman Reigns asked for his country back. He is no longer an ISIS militant. He is American once again. And with that being said, Roman Reigns has had an interesting next couple of weeks, especially asking for his country back in front of the troops, attributed to the troops, where he was accepted by American troops. And the weeks in general, to the point where Stephanie slapped the shit out of Tom Phillips, which was rightly deserved to slap the shit out of Tom Phillips, but to the point where he walked away from Stephanie, to the point where the Usos faced the New Day in a handicap match, and Ambrose faced Sheamus in a cage, and to the point where Mr. McMahon last night on Raw had something wrong with his neck or something. I didn't catch it at first. Something with his neck. Stephanie came out with the Brooklyn and New York's finest police department, and Mr. McMahon got arrested because of Roman Reigns. He got arrested. Well, he did, to be fair. He put his hands on a police officer or a detective or whatever he was, because he didn't really have a badge or anything. He honestly looked like Tully Blanchard a little bit, but it wasn't Tully. It was some dude with a Brooklyn accent. And I don't care who you are. I don't care if Black Lives Matter or not. I don't care if it's free Freddie Gray, free whoever, free a 12-year-old child that got shot, free Chicago, free Baltimore, free whatever. I don't care if Black Lives Matter, White Lives Matter, Asian Lives Matter. I don't care if all forces matter. If you put your hand on a cop, you are most likely going to jail. Not because of their abusive powers at times, but because they are above you. They are a public servant to the law. And much like when Steve Austin had Mr. McMahon arrested, Mr. McMahon was arrested because of Roman Reigns and Roman Reigns alone. And this is where we would talk about the WWE Championship match, but that's actually going to happen next week on Raw, when Roman Reigns faces Sheamus, and the guest referee, the man who posted bail due to Stephanie and Jerry McDevitt, or whoever the top lawyer is in WWE, Mr. McMahon will be the special guest referee in that match. So I can probably almost guarantee a new world champion, but if not, we can see this match going into the Rumble. I don't know for sure. We'll just see what happens. And on the Rumble itself, the only man entered so far, the man that actually entered himself at number 1, the Big Show. And if how we usually do Rumbles is because there's 30 guys in there, 30 or 40, depending on how big they want the Rumble to be. Because one year it was 40 people, and the rest has been 30 people. Excuse me. But the way we usually do it is if they're going to win the Rumble or not. Or if they have a chance, if they're a dark horse, whatever. Well, you can't really predict the Rumble unless you know a guy who is going to win the Rumble. And as far as I'm concerned, if the Big Show is legitimately the first entrant into the Royal Rumble, you are guaranteed to have the Big Show win the Rumble. I don't care who you are. The only logical competition he would have is a guy possibly bigger than him in Braun Strowman, who's probably the biggest fucking guy on the roster right now. Not just in star power, but legitimately big as fuck. He's probably taller than Khali. I don't really know how tall this guy fucking is. But the only competition I can legitimately see in the Big Show's way is Braun Strowman. But if the Big Show is number one in the Rumble, if he enters first in the Rumble, he can take his sweet ass time dumping people off the top out of the ring one by one. And that is the key. If he somehow eliminates everyone one by one every 2 minutes or every minute and a half, however they want to do Rumble this year, however intervals they want to do, if the Big Show is number one, you can guarantee that the Big Show will win the Rumble. And as much as I hate to say that, it's probably going to happen. Because recently he won the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. A guy who people have compared to Andre, which honestly I feel is an insult to Andre the Giant, but people have always had dream matches in mind of what would happen if Andre faced the Big Show, especially since back in the day in WCW he was characterized as Andre's son. And if he was characterized as Andre's son, the king of battle royals, Andre the Giant, then honestly, Big Show has the biggest chance to win this match. Hell, he was in the Final Four last year, where the fucking Philadelphia booed the fuck out of The Rock. And who the fuck boos The Rock these days? Except you just want to look cool and say you did it for the hell of it. But the fact is, the Big Show at number one has the biggest chance, no pun intended, but the biggest chance to win the Rumble. The Rumble is January 27th, and hopefully the Big Show will not win, but if he's number one, chances are he probably will.